agree.
Okay, one last thing that I want to round off on is you mentioned it a few monologues ago. The idea of focusing on what someone is good at compared to focusing on what someone is bad at. Could you talk about that a little bit? And I'd like to dive in and potentially play the other side of the coin on that.
Love that. Good. So my most favorite approach to psychology is with the positive psychology lens. And that approach
Like Carl Rogers?
I'm a little bit, and I really like Martin Seligman's approach to it as well too.
Okay, yeah.
I suppose kind of the main tenet of that approach is that the focus is on human flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
The focus is on helping humans get better at whatever it is that they are already good at, and focusing on enhancing those strengths, rather than perhaps more of like a prescriptive or a normal psychology viewpoint where we're trying to take weaknesses and, again, abnormalities up to kind of the average level. Not to say that that isn't important and that those weaknesses or those abnormalities can't be supplemented with medication or therapy, whatever that might be. But in the domain of sport, where my main goal as, say, a performance consultant is to push someone that is already very good at something, let's say 98% good at something, up to a 99 or even 100, I find that flourishing, that positive psychology spin helps me get to where I need to go. And so I find, again, it's very liberating for athletes. I think kind of the old school approach to sport and performance psychology has been focused on kind of getting those weaknesses up to average. And I think it's just a fresh take on that approach for athletes to say, hey, you know what? These are the things that I'm good at. And maybe I'll focus on these for once. I recall, I think I was down in Calgary with a volleyball workshop with Pursuit. There was maybe about 40, 50 athletes there. And I asked the group, okay, I want you kind of as like a really quick icebreaker. Can you list your greatest weakness and your greatest strength of the group, one word each, and then move on? Because the tendency is kind of give an explanation. I think that's, for some reason, almost like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, I'm great at math because this. And then often the explanation, you attribute that strength to other people. No one ever wants to take onus for their strengths or weaknesses. And then so we did that. And then afterwards, I got them to raise their hands. Okay, who was able to come up with their strength really, really quickly? And no one put up their hand. And then I asked, okay, who was able to come up with their weakness really, really quickly? And everyone put up their hand. Like, it was very black and white. And I think in the domain of sport, a lot of coaches focus on weaknesses and they call out weaknesses. And I just think it's a very fresh take to perhaps focus on strengths instead. And I think there's a little bit more of an effect on overall well-being for the athlete when taking that approach. Not to say that there isn't a time and place to work on those weaknesses as well.
Mm-hmm. Something that we did at TRU was during games, we would focus on our strengths. So I was really good at blocking and serving. And so that was something that I always focused on to get me into a game. And then once I was in a game, that's how I entered my flow state, was by focusing on my strengths. And then in practice, we would focus on our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. So I guess going back to that idea of mindfulness versus meditative state, and what you're going for in practice versus a game is that in a game, you might be looking to acknowledge what someone's doing well and help to build them up into their optimal athletic performance. And then when you're in practice, then you're looking to actually build someone's weaknesses. And the only reason I asked about that was because there was research by her name was Carol Gilligan, and she was looking into confidence. She was actually looking into the academics of young girls in the late 1990s, and she went in and found that there was a point at which the confidence of girls nosedove, mm-hmm. and then that sparked a lot of different maybe call them they were modules to increase confidence in young girls. And over and she was looking at it from the dichotomy of boys are confident, young girls are not confident, and so there must be something happening in the schooling system that is now making girls unconfident. And when people went in later, they found, well, both boys and girls lose their confidence at this age. It's something that's consistent. And so I would say that maybe from a psychoanalytic perspective, it's the realization that you're not perfect, and you start to look around and see other people, and you have a theory of mind moment where you go, oh, that person's really good at this, and that person's really good at this, and I'm not really good at this. And then that impacts your confidence. And so what we've found to best work on confidence is not to tell people that they are good at stuff, but to teach them skills. So confidence is built by the acquisition and learning of skills and of knowledge. So you become more confident the more that you actually do something, rather than someone coming in and saying, hey, you're really good at this thing. It was actually more beneficial for someone to come in and say, maybe you're not very good at this thing, but you can get very good at this thing, going back to the Carol Dweck growth mindset, and you can get good at this thing. So let's work on this thing. And then working on that thing with the preconceived notion that by working on it, you will get better at it. And that's what increased confidence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think something to note of that, I think we could call it like a movement, that self-confidence movement, and that most stereotypical outcome of that self-confidence movement in schools was the introduction to the participation ribbon.
Right.
And I think but that's, I think, perhaps the most stereotypical outcome, whereas there were definitely positive things. But I think too, with what I'm looking at now in my PhD, in addition to grit, is the weaving together of self-confidence with self-compassion. Because as you were saying there, that confidence piece is contingent on referencing where other people are at. I'm going to rank myself in a particular skill, let's say math, in comparison to little Tommy and Susie. And they got much better grades than I did. I only got a 70, they got an 80 and a 90. Thus, my self-confidence is going to tank. And if we weave together that self-confidence with self-compassion, which is a combination of mindfulness, self-kindness, and common humanity, that unwavering self-kindness that you as a human being are deserving of love and of success and of happiness, no matter what it is, the outcome that you just experienced, no matter the setback, then we kind of weave those two skills together and create human beings that are able to go through through setbacks, through failures, and able to come out successfully on the other side. And continue to be gritty, continue to be persistent, because we have that self-compassion, that mindfulness piece too, that we already talked about, to get us through that negative incident. So I think, that self-confidence piece is so interesting how you bring that up, because I think we need to weave that together now with a little bit of self-compassion as well too.